Hello everybody, surprised to see me so soon? I am too. Found some time in between studying chapters for my final to put up a review of this week's episode of Doctor Who. Anyway, I enjoyed this week's episode, and I didn't expect to. I heard some pretty off reviews of it from my father and other people. And it worried me because, but at the same time I went in knowing that this is just kind of a filler episode. We had this huge two-parter to start off the season with, and they needed kind of just a quirky little, hey, let's go to a pirate ship and play with pirates and aliens with pirates. I ended up thinking that this episode was actually pretty good. Overall, it kind of had a similar idea to the Empty Child with a medical doctor, or something that's supposed to be used for medical purposes with other alien races, trying to deal with humans. And it kind of set me off, because I was like, yeah, I understand Moffat's the head writer now, even though he didn't personally write this episode. He still foresees the scripts and puts them, kind of gives the other writers a direction of where he wants to go with them. And so it was kind of like, Moffat, we've kind of seen this before. But other than that, it was pretty good. I thought that, the use of reflective surfaces was really kind of cool. I thought both guest actors, even though, oh, what's her name? I'm going blank with her name right now. You can post below and act angry like, oh, you don't know someone's name? Honestly, I'm too busy and tired to care. But anyway, the model, who was also in Imaginarium of Dr. Panakis with Heath Ledger, she didn't really have lines or anything, but, I get, from her being a model, you can tell she just gets so much expression on her face, and she just, she just that's all she really needs. She doesn't need to say any words, and, that was, she had a really kind of cool character. What'd you call it? Yeah, I guess it's a character. The alien skeletons on the ship, I thought I had seen before, and when I say before, I mean a really, really long time, like classic Who. They look kind of familiar. I don't know if that's going to mean anything. I don't know if the spaceship is going to come up later. I loved the reoccurrence of the lady with the star makeup, who kind of looks, like she's a 70s rock fan, and just with the sliding door thing. That was really kind of cool that they brought that back. That was kind of another cool little creepy scene to add in. And, it wasn't an amazing episode. It wasn't overly impressive. It didn't have a lot to do with the story arc. But I think it was entertaining. And it's definitely the type of episode where if my friends want to get into the show, I can kind of show it. I can say, hey, here's a good episode to start with. Past episodes like that, kind of like Girl in the Fireplace, Empty Child, Horn, or Unicorn and the Wasp, things like that, where it's just kind of like, oh, well, you can watch this episode, because it doesn't really have a whole lot to do with the story arc, and it's just kind of really cool. You got pirates, you got sword fighting, you got weird curses, you got a lot of witty humor from the Doctor, some good comedic elements, a lot of good banter here and there. Rory, of course, the more I see of Rory, the more I just kind of fall in love with his character. Although, I have to say, this episode just really kind of proved more my point that I made in my episode of the first, my review of the first episode of this season, which was Rory's kind of like Kenny. If they can nearly kill him, they will, and so it's kind of funny right now, but I do believe that, like Kenny, that little thing is gonna get kind of old. Like, yay, we get it. Rory nearly died again, and that is kind of like how Kenny doesn't die in every episode of South Park anymore, and in fact he's not really in it anymore. It will hopefully kind of fade, because I don't want that to be Rory's only use to the show. He's a very good character. The relationship with him and Amy is really good. You know, and him being there kind of levels out the relationship between Amy and the Doctor. And I think Amy and the Doctor, in this episode, the Doctor has definitely shown that he's taken almost more of a protective father role over Amy, with the whole last little lines where she says, "You only call me Amelia when you're worried about me," and he says, "I'm always worried about you." That kind of shows that the Doctor's more taking on a fatherly role with Amy now, or a protective older brother. I do that with a lot of my female younger friends, and so I got, kind of relate to that. Anyway, yeah, like I said, pretty decent episode. I enjoyed watching it. I thought it was entertaining. I thought both guest actors were good in their parts, and it was an interesting storyline. I'm really, 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 really excited to see next week's episode. It looks really good, and very intense and very intriguing. The whole idea of Time Lords in a little colony, refugees. So anyway, I'll be back next week. I'll probably be back in Columbia, so you'll get to see my yellow house and my Doctor Who poster and all that other stuff again, as if that really makes a difference. I don't think it adds or subtracts from my banter. Apparently my appearance, I look horrible today. I'm tired. I'm going to go back to studying. Finals week is almost done, and I'm working on a little, I don't know, I'm going to release it next month. I'm working on a little video kind of about my experiences after the death of Osama bin Laden, just kind of, thoughts and reflections I had, and I think I'm going to release that on the 1 month anniversary of the announcement of Osama bin Laden's death, just because, more of a marker than a week or 4 days or whatever I was originally going to do. But yeah, also, I talked to Davey Rothbart from Found Magazine and My Heart is an Idiot, and he is definitely into the ideas I gave him. So, I'm going to post another video later about that, and hopefully get him, he'll do something with it on his page, on both the My Heart is an Idiot page, and his Davey's page, Davey Found, I don't know, it's in my subscriptions and my friends. So anyway, I'll talk to you later, and see you soon. Bye.